The Nintendo Entertainment System was the definitive gaming console of the 8-bit generation, seen during the 1980s and early 90s, that provided the driving force for new competitors and systems to also fight for supremacy to become the dominant force in the video games industry that would produce some of the greatest titles in existence. This era would also prove to be an experimental period, with developers looking for ways to incorporate atmosphere in games, taking inspiration from many iconic horror movies of the time to invoke a real sense of fear and intrigue to interact with the emotional state of the player. However, due to hardware limitations, developers were forced to adapt their ideas that would prove to be an essential step in the future development of gaming concepts, sparking the question, could games be scary? It was a question that sparked much curiosity among creators to understand if it was actually possible, and this feat was achieved with the NES becoming home to some of the most fear-inducing titles of its time, many of which would lay the foundations for some of the industry's most iconic and popular horror franchises of all time. To understand more of the lore behind early horror games, we must delve into the history of popular titles that would spark influence within the industry to learn, adapt and grow with even more sinister and terrifying ideas, as these games depict the essence of early horror games. So let us dive behind the scenes to look at the many horror titles that sparked fear in the hearts of gamers on the NES console and how they fueled the evolution of the horror games genre in future generations. In the realm of iconic 8-bit horror platformers, Castlevania cast players as Simon Belmont, a stalwart vampire hunter on a relentless quest to topple the malevolent Dracula. Against a gothic backdrop, the game weaves an immersive tapestry of chilling melodies and formidable challenges, challenging the essence of timeless horror. As players navigate treacherous terrain, battle supernatural foes, and confront labyrinthian obstacles, Castlevania captures the quintessence of classic horror, enveloping gamers in a gothic world fraught with danger and intrigue. The game's legacy endures as a testament to the potency of atmospheric storytelling and enduring gameplay that continues to bewitch both nostalgic and new players alike. Chiller, an unsettling and controversial NES game that invites players into a gruesome gallery of horror scenarios. This unique light gun shooter challenges players to target and shoot various human and animal targets placed in disturbing environments, triggering graphic and violent animations upon successful hits. The game's shocking and explicit content led to its limited distribution and sparked debates about its appropriateness. While Chiller is remembered for its audacious departure from typical NES games and its unsettling visuals, it remains a curiosity in the realm of video game history, offering a dark and discomforting experience that stands apart from the platform's more conventional offerings. Metroid, a groundbreaking title for the NES games console, released in 1986, introduced players to an immersive blend of exploration and action. In this side-scrolling adventure, players assume the role of a bounty hunter, navigating through an intricate, interconnected alien world. The game's non-linear gameplay, innovative backtracking mechanics, and hidden secrets behind uncharted territory set a new standard for exploration-driven gaming. Metroid's twist, with revealing the character's gender towards the end, added only to its intrigue. With its eerie atmosphere, dark vibes, atmospheric soundtrack, and memorable power-ups, Metroid laid the foundation for the beloved Metroidvania genre, leaving an indelible mark on video game history. Ghosts and Goblins, a classic NES game released in 1986, is a renowned embodiment of challenging platforming and arcade-style action, and is the prequel to the formidable Ghouls and Ghosts. Players control the valiant knight Arthur on a quest to rescue Princess Prin Prin from the clutches of demonic forces. The game's notoriously high difficulty level, along with its requirement to complete the game twice for the true ending, has solidified its reputation as a true test of skill and perseverance. With its hauntingly atmospheric visuals, memorable music, and relentless gameplay, Ghosts and Goblins remains an enduring emblem of retro gaming, celebrated for its unforgiving yet rewarding journey through the world filled with supernatural adversaries and enduring heroism. Maniac Mansion, a groundbreaking NES title, revolutionised the adventure game genre. Many gamers still find themselves captivated by the quirky charm and immersive gameplay of the beloved classic. Maniac Mansion, which has remained influential in the gaming world, sees players take control of a group of teenagers exploring the creepy Edison mansion to rescue one of their friends from the clutches of the eccentric Dr. Fred. Through a point-and-click interface, players solve puzzles, interact with bizarre characters, and uncover a web of secrets within the mansion's walls. The game's multiple characters and branching narrative paths added replay value and depth, setting a new standard for player choice and interactivity. With its witty writing, memorable characters, and inventive mechanics, Maniac Mansion remains an influential title that influenced many horror trends while making the experience more approachable with its offbeat charm and engaging gameplay. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, an NES game released in 1987, diverges from its predecessor by introducing RPG and exploration elements into the series. Players guide Simon Belmont on a quest to lift a curse placed on him by Dracula. The game's non-linear structure, with day and night cycles and town interaction, set it apart from its predecessor, allowing players to buy items, gather clues, and upgrade equipment. While criticised for its cryptic puzzles and sometimes confusing mechanics, Castlevania 2 retains the series' signature challenging platforming and combat. Its haunting soundtrack and atmospheric visuals contribute to the gothic ambience. Despite its divisive reception, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest remains an important entry in the Castlevania saga, paving the way for future installments that continue to evolve the series. Faxanadu, an action role-playing game for the NES console released in 1987, whisks players away to a captivating fantasy realm. The game is an addition to the Dragon Slayer series, seeing players assume the role of an adventurer tasked with saving the Elven Kingdom from a mysterious decay. The game's side-scrolling exploration, RPG mechanics, and intricate platforming challenges create a rich and immersive experience. As players acquire equipment, level up, and engage in real-time combat against a variety of fantastical enemies, they uncover the tale of ancient civilizations and impending doom. Faxanadu's unique blend of genres, atmosphere, music, and engaging gameplay make it a standout among NES titles, leaving a lasting impression on those who venture into its enchanting and perilous world. Getsu Fuma Den, a captivating action-adventure game released for the NES console in 1987, plunges players into feudal Japan's supernatural realm. As the samurai warrior Getsu Fuma, players embark on a perilous quest to rescue their kidnapped family and thwart the demonic forces threatening the land. The game's distinctive blend of side-scrolling action, RPG elements, and intricate level design set it apart, The use of vertical and horizontal stages adds to its dynamic gameplay, while the ability to acquire new weapons and power-ups enhances the experience. Though not widely known outside of Japan, Getsu Fuma Den remains a hidden gem cherished by retro gaming enthusiasts for its compelling narrative, challenging gameplay, and unique fusion of Japanese mythology and gaming mechanics. Contra, an iconic title for the NES games console, released in 1988, epitomizes fast-paced, heart-pounding action. This side-scrolling shooter plunges players into a futuristic battleground, challenging them to take down waves of alien enemies and gigantic bosses. Known for its intense difficulty and two-player cooperative mode, Contra offers a satisfying blend of precise shooting, strategic power-up management, and adrenaline-fueled gameplay. The iconic Konami code originated here, granting players a much-needed advantage. With its memorable music, responsive controls, and relentless excitement, Contra has secured its place as a timeless classic, fondly remembered by gamers for its enduring challenge and arcade-style thrills. Dr. Chaos, an NES game released in 1988, invites players into a suspenseful and mysterious adventure. Players explore a haunted mansion to uncover its secrets and rescue a missing colleague. Dr. Chaos presents an intriguing combination of gameplay elements with exploration, puzzle solving, and survival horror. With its engaging mix of challenges and eerie atmosphere, this game is sure to provide hours of entertainment for anyone looking for a truly unique gaming experience, as players encounter supernatural creatures and paranormal phenomena. With its eerie atmosphere, suspenseful music, and challenging gameplay, Dr. Chaos provides a memorable and immersive experience for those seeking a dose of spooky excitement. While not as widely known as some NES classics, it remains a hidden gem for enthusiasts of horror-themed gaming, and showcases the NES console's versatility in delivering diverse gameplay experiences. Uninvited, a haunting NES game released in 1991, invites players to explore a terrifying and mysterious mansion in search of their missing sibling. Set in a spooky atmospheric environment, the game blends point-and-click mechanics with puzzle solving and survival horror elements. Players must unravel the mansion's dark secrets and confront supernatural dangers as they navigate its eerie halls. With its chilling visuals, eerie soundtrack, and engrossing storytelling, Uninvited creates an immersive experience that keeps players on the edge of their seats. And while not as widely recognised as other titles, the game's gripping narrative and unsettling atmosphere contribute to its status as a hidden gem, appealing to those who appreciate a dose of suspense and supernatural intrigue in their gaming adventures. Monster Party, released in 1989, offers a unique blend of horror and action. Players control a boy who encounters a gargoyle-like creature and is transported to a bizarre world filled with monsters and otherworldly beings. Armed with a baseball bat, you must battle through a series of levels, each with its own monstrous boss. The game's surreal visuals, quirky enemies, and catchy soundtrack create a distinct and memorable atmosphere. While its difficulty and offbeat design may not resonate with everyone, Monster Party remains a cult favourite among retro gaming enthusiasts, offering a peculiar and charming journey through a world where horror and absurdity collide in a delightful and entertaining way. A Nightmare on Elm Street, released in 1989, brings the horror of the iconic film series to the gaming screen. Players control characters who venture into the dream realm to confront the malevolent Freddy Krueger. The game features side-scrolling action as players battle Freddy's nightmarish minions and gather his bones to defeat him. The game's eerie atmosphere, eerie sound effects and challenging gameplay capture the essence of the horror franchise. A Nightmare on Elm Street holds a place in gaming history as an early attempt to translate a horror movie into an interactive form, offering fans of both horror and retro gaming a chance to face their fears in the digital realm. Sweet Home, a Japanese RPG horror game released by Capcom for the NES console in 1989, is a pioneer in the survival horror genre and is a precursor to the legendary Resident Evil series. Based on a horror film of the same name, players explore a haunted mansion in search of frescoes to restore and free trapped spirits. The game's eerie ambience, gruesome imagery and strategic gameplay set it apart from other titles seen at the time. Players control 5 characters, each with unique abilities, while solving puzzles and battling supernatural foes. Permanent character deaths and limited inventory add tension, making it a challenging experience. Despite its Japanese-only release, Sweet Home left an indelible mark on horror gaming, influencing future titles and solidifying its status as a hidden gem for those intrigued by early survival horror mechanics and atmospheric storytelling. Shadowgate, a unique horror title, plunges players into a mystical and perilous adventure within a treacherous castle. As the seed of prophecy, players must navigate through a labyrinth-style fortress, solving intricate puzzles and facing deadly traps to defeat an ancient evil. The game's point-and-click interface and atmospheric presentation create an immersive and suspenseful experience. With its intricate and often unforgiving challenges, Shadowgate challenges players to think critically and make life or death decisions. Its evocative graphics, haunting soundtrack and engrossing narrative make it a standout title, captivating players with its blend of fantasy, exploration and strategic thinking, while firmly establishing itself as a beloved entry in the NES library. Splatterhouse, Wanpaku Graffiti, is a unique and quirky horror-themed action game released for the NES games console. Unlike its more gruesome arcade counterparts, this game approaches the subject matter with a playful and humorous tone. Players assume the role of Rick, a mask-wearing protagonist, as he battles his way through haunted mansions and eerie landscapes, facing off against various monsters and supernatural foes. The game's pixelated graphics, catchy music, and charmingly oddball enemies contribute to its distinctive appeal despite its toned-down violence. Compared to the original Splatterhouse series, the game remains a cult classic among retro gaming enthusiasts, showcasing a delightful blend of horror and humour on the 8-bit platform. Friday the 13th for the NES console is a notable entry in the horror gaming genre. Released in 1989, it places players in the location of Camp Crystal Lake, tasked with saving fellow victims from the iconic killer Jason. The game combines exploration, resource management and combat as players gather weapons and items while avoiding Jason's deadly pursuit. Despite its attempt to capture the tense atmosphere of the film series, the game has garnered criticism for its challenging mechanics and repetitive gameplay. While it may not have aged well, Friday the 13th on the NES console holds a nostalgic charm for many gamers, serving as a reminder of the era's attempts to translate cinematic horror to the gaming screen. Abadox, The Deadly Inner War, is an action-packed title released for the NES console, which thrusts players into a surreal and treacherous journey. Released in 1989, the game follows the heroic Second Lieutenant Natsal as he ventures into the bowels of an alien being named Parasitus. Players navigate through grotesque organic landscapes, battling a barrage of grotesque and monstrous enemies, and confronting intricately designed bosses. With its challenging gameplay, vibrant visuals, and intense soundtrack, Abadox offers a memorable and distinctive gaming experience, and it remains an intriguing testament to the creativity and diversity within the platform's game library. Werewolf, The Last Warrior, a side-scrolling action game for the NES games console, immerses players in a supernatural battle against an array of monstrous foes. Released in 1990, it follows the journey of the character, a human-wolf hybrid, on his quest to save humanity from an evil doctor and his minions. Players navigate through challenging levels, transforming between human and werewolf forms to exploit different abilities and defeat enemies. The game's dark and atmospheric visuals and its fast-paced gameplay contribute to its unique appeal. Werewolf: The Last Warrior stands as a nostalgic relic of the era's fascination with action-packed horror-themed adventures. Frankenstein: The Monster Returns, a platformer released for the NES games console, invites players into the world of classic horror. Launched in 1990, the game follows the legendary monster as he embarks on a quest to rescue his kidnapped bride from the clutches of an evil scientist. Players traverse through diverse levels, confronting various enemies and obstacles, while utilising Frankenstein's unique abilities, including his immense strength and ability to hurl projectiles. With its eerie atmosphere, detailed pixel art, and challenging gameplay, Frankenstein: The Monster Returns captures the essence of the iconic monster tale. While not a household name among NES titles, it remains a hidden gem for horror and retro gaming enthusiasts, offering an engaging and a memorable experience on the 8-bit platform. Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei for the NES, released in 1987, introduces players to a dark and innovative RPG experience. Set in modern day Tokyo, the game follows a student who uses a computer program to summon demons, inadvertently unleashing chaos upon the city. Players navigate dungeons, recruit demons, and engage in turn-based battles against supernatural adversaries. The game's blend of modern technology, mythology, and occult themes sets it apart, offering a captivating narrative and and complex gameplay mechanics. While its difficulty and mature content led to a limited release outside of Japan, Digital Devil's story Megami Tensei remains a cult classic and an early example of the unique role-playing experiences that would come to define the Megami Tensei franchise. Digital Devil's story Megami Tensei 2, released for the NES games console in 1990, and is a significant entry in the Megami Tensei series, known for its role-playing and demon summoning gameplay. Building upon its predecessor, the game plunges players into a dark, post-apocalyptic Tokyo, where they navigate a dystopian world, recruit demons, and engage in turn-based battles against both supernatural creatures and rival factions. With its intricate narrative, moral choices, and complex fusion system, Megami Tensei 2 offers a deep and challenging RPG experience, while not as well known as some other titles, and remains a cult classic among enthusiasts of the genre, showcasing the series' early innovation and its influence on the broader realm of role-playing games. Zombie Nation, an eccentric and unconventional NES game released in 1991, offers a unique twist on the classic shoot-'em-up genre. Players control a disembodied samurai head named Namakubai, who must traverse post-apocalyptic America, using powerful psychic abilities to combat hordes of zombies and bizarre enemies. The game's premise and visuals stand out, showcasing a mix of Japanese and American pop culture elements. While its challenging gameplay and surreal presentation might not resonate with everyone, Zombie Nation remains a curious and memorable entry in the NES library, appreciated by those seeking a dose of offbeat and off-kilter gaming experiences from the era. Monster in My Pocket, released for the NES console in 1992, and brings miniature monsters to life in a delightful and imaginative platforming adventure. Drawing inspiration from the popular toy line, the game invites players to navigate through various levels set in everyday locations, from tabletops to kitchen counters, while battling an array of supernatural foes. Players can control two characters, selecting from a roster of iconic monsters, each with unique abilities. The game's whimsical art style, catchy music, and cooperative gameplay make it a standard title for nostalgic gamers, and captures the essence of childhood imagination and delivers an enjoyable and quirky experience for players of all ages. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, for the NES console, beckons players into a dark and captivating world, delivering a spellbinding blend of addictive gameplay and atmospheric storytelling. The gameplay style is a thrilling mix of action, platforming, and exploration, guiding players through treacherous levels riddled with supernatural foes and menacing traps. The story unfolds with gothic intrigue, casting players as the heroic Trevor Belmont on a quest to defeat the legendary vampire Count Dracula. The visual elements of Castlevania 3 immerse players in a hauntingly beautiful landscape, complete with eerie castles, gloomy forests, and odd-worldly-like locales. The combat systems offer an array of weapons and skills, allowing players to masterfully dispatch enemies and uncover secrets. From battling ferocious bosses to strategically navigating the challenging terrain, every encounter is a test of skill and reflexes. As players progress, they unlock new characters with unique abilities, adding layers of strategy to the gameplay. Castlevania 3 stands as a testament to the allure of classic gaming, delivering a dark and enjoyable experience that's both challenging and addictive. With its atmospheric visuals, intricate combat, and engaging storytelling, the game offers a timeless journey into the realm of action-adventure, making it a must-play for gamers seeking a hauntingly thrilling experience. Alien 3 for the NES console, released in 1992, attempts to capture the suspense and terror of the film franchise in a side-scrolling action game. Players control Ellen Ripley as she navigates through a complex infested with the deadly xenomorphs. With limited ammo and resources, players must strategically combat the alien threat while rescuing trapped prisoners. The game's eerie atmosphere, tense music and challenging gameplay evoke a sense of isolation and danger from the movies. While its difficulty and occasional frustration may deter some players, Alien 3 manages to infuse the NES with a taste of sci-fi horror, offering fans both of the film series and retro gaming a chance to experience the adrenaline-fueled struggle for survival against extraterrestrial adversaries. Swamp Thing, a platforming game released for the NES games console in 1992, immerses players in the swampy world of the iconic comic book character. Players control Swamp Thing as he battles through various levels, with the intent of stopping the evil corrupt scientist who has stolen his research to use it for his own endeavours, battling sinister foes and environmental hazards as you play. With a focus on combat and exploration, the game offers a mix of action and use of item power-ups, while allowing Swamp Thing to morph into different forms to adapt to different challenges. One of the more challenging and frustrating entries seen on the NES library, the Swamp Thing manages to bring a piece of comic book lore to the gaming screen, offering fans a chance to experience the adventures of this unique, enigmatic hero in a side-scrolling format. Ghoul, an NES game released in 1992, offers a unique, quirky take on the horror genre. Players assume the role of a student at a haunted high school overrun by supernatural creatures. Armed with various weapons, the character embarks on a mission to rescue his fellow classmates and end the paranormal chaos. The game's side-scrolling gameplay, distinctive enemies and offbeat sense of humour contribute to its charm. While not as well known as other NES titles, Ghoul delivers a dose of light-hearted, horror-themed action, providing an engaging and nostalgic experience for those seeking a departure from traditional gaming fare. Bram Stoker's Dracula for the NES games console, released in 1993, offers a unique adaptation of the classic Gothic tale. Players step into the shoes of Jonathan Harker, battling through a series of levels inspired by key moments from the novel and the subsequent movie adaptation. With a mix of platforming, action and exploration, the game provides a variety of challenges and enemies, culminating in confrontations with iconic characters like Dracula himself. While not without its flaws, such as occasional difficulty spikes, the game captures the essence of the source material and provides an engaging experience for fans of both the original story and classic gaming. Its atmospheric presentation and attempts at storytelling make it an intriguing relic of video game interpretations of literal works. The NES games console is one of the most popular and most successful gaming platforms of all time, and with its diverse selection of titles, played its part in the evolution of not only the 8-bit console generation, but also the history of the horror game genre, with games like Sweet Home becoming the main catalyst and inspiration for the creation of the legendary Resident Evil series, a series that set the standard for horror games to create its own genre known as survival horror, setting a benchmark for what was to come. It is interesting to look back over the history of horror video games to learn of its origins, yet there is so much more to discover, and how the development of these concepts continue to grow that we need to investigate further, which is why you need to check out this next video that looks at the evolution of horror games beyond the 8-bit generation.